Hey guys, it's Colleen again. Just wanted to say a few things. I'm tired as hell, which is my life, tired as hell. Um, First thing I wanted to say, if you have any signs or symptoms, or just an odd array of multiple diagnoses, you know, hit me up, send a comment. On Facebook, it's finding my stripes. Not .com, but finding my stripes. You can find me there and DM me. If you have any, questions, let me know. And you can do it privately. You can, whatever you need. If you have Ehlers Danlos Syndrome and you have questions, or you just want to get in touch with somebody who knows what you're going through, like I said, leave me comments. DM me on Facebook, Finding My Stripes. Again, hit subscribe, make a comment, like the post, you can share them, whatever, it's all fine. I'm not all about making money on YouTube. I'm not very good at this, if you haven't noticed. So this is more of a information and a this is my life kind of thing. Alright? I kind of wanted to go through the process at which I was finally diagnosed at 41. After, we're just going to do this brief. After years and years and years of weird things popping up, hypermobility, hemorrhages, bruising, narcolepsy, migraines, insomnia, total colonic paralysis, ending up with an ileostomy, breaking bones, tearing muscles in my sleep, weird ass things. And I literally, as a nurse, I was just like, some people just don't have any luck. And I'm that person, Just ignored it, blew it off. I'd pass out and break my face on my cedar chest at the end of my bed. If I had more than 1 or 2 drinks of alcohol, I'd pass out at the drop of a hat. Nobody knew what was really going on, and there was a lot of stuff I just blew off and just was like, forget it, I'm a nurse, I can handle it, whatever, no big deal. Until I could not eat, until I threw up 20 times a day, until I ended up on 2 doses of Linzess, 12 doses of Miralax, and 2 enemas every other day just to poop and get me to the point where they were, because my ileostomy, my colectomy and ileostomy surgery was scheduled 2.5, 3 months out, because it took special people to do it, because there was so much that needed done. And then after that surgery, I was in and out of the hospital 5 times for a total of something like 76 days over 5 admissions. I had C. diff, I had bowel obstructions. You just don't even want to know. It was a mess. And my little sister, she's 15 months younger than me, so she's not really little, but my younger sister had been bothering me. I'll say bothering me. She'd been bugging the hell out of me to see a geneticist because my mother died of a very rare neuromuscular disease. And I, as a nurse and as the second in command as primary caregivers, go with my mother, and having extensive knowledge on neurological issues, because I spent time talking to neurologists, talking to her neurologist, talking to my neurologist, talking to the neurologist that I worked with. You know, and I had already spoken with her neurologist, who was also my neurologist at the time, about her blood work, her DNA blood work that came back, and the mutation it showed, showed that it was basically completely not hereditary, that it was a random mutation. She had what is now called spinal cerebellar ataxia. It had been called spinal cerebellar degenerative disease, and her mutation has only ever been seen in her. So the chances of it being passed on are very low. But my little sister went to the doctor with me at one of my appointments because I knew I was going to get bad news, and I knew I was going to need some support. And she cornered me in front of two surgeons, and we had this discussion about my mother, and both surgeons looked at me and said, you know, we don't think you have what your mother had, but you do have way too much going on for something not to be wrong, So you probably do need to see a geneticist and get a full workup. It took a year to see the geneticist because of all my admissions. I kept having to cancel, and then they canceled once or twice, and eventually I finally get there, and within 5 minutes they'd already looked at my chart, they'd already looked at my history, they'd spoken with some of my other doctors, and within 5 minutes they said, you definitely don't have what your mom had, but you do have a connective tissue disease. And I went, what? I was told when I was pregnant with my oldest to look into connective tissue disease because of what was going on with him. Well, with me carrying him, and how, like, my pelvic girdle completely shifted. Like, there was a 3 to 4 inch deviation between one side and the other. My sacrum locked into my left hip and ended up being broken when he was born because it had nowhere to go. And that physical therapist told me, she says, you have connective tissue disease. And I said, where do I go? Who do I talk to? How do I find out? And she goes, I have no idea. I'm just telling you that with your hypermobility, with your joints the way they are, and your pelvic girdle doing what it's doing, you have some kind of connective tissue disease, and you need to find the right person to get diagnosed and to help you. And that was in late 1999, early 2000 that she told me this. I found out when I was 41 years old. So 3 years ago. 3 years ago, so 2017, I found out that I had connective tissue disease. And unfortunately, because doctors don't look at things as the big picture, everybody is specialized. You have an orthopedic for your bones. You have an eye doctor for your eyes. You got an ENT for your ear, nose, and throat. You have dermatologists for your skin. You have a cardiologist. You have GI. You have motility. You have, I don't know, podiatrists. You have orthopedics who specialize in only knees. You have orthopedics who specialize in only shoulders. You have neurosurgeons. You have orthopedics who do only fusions. So nobody sits back and reads your chart as a whole. They don't go through it and go, wow, this, and this all match up with this disease. Maybe she needs to be worked up for this. And working in medicine for 20 years, I can tell you that is a dangerous thing, because a lot of things get missed because we're not looking at the big picture. So the important thing in life is, yes, have your specialists, but have somebody else that is going to sit there and look at you as a whole. And what I have done is I have found a good internal medicine doctor. We discuss things. We discuss anything new that's going on every 6 months. Anything that's bothering me, he'll look at. He knows I've got the EDS. I'm his only patient with EDS. I actually gave him some literature and some websites to go to in order to get educated on it. And, we discuss me as a whole. He reviews what's going on in the past 6 months and yada, yada, yada. So that's important. But what is also important is, if you feel that there is something wrong and you have all these diagnoses that match up with EDS, and go ahead and look it up. I can give you all the diagnoses, but there's so many. And one day I will. There's just so many. And then, if you have these, and the primary one is hypermobility, which means that everything hyperextends. Your hips, your knees. You can, with your legs put together, your feet flat on the floor, you can put your hands flat on the floor when you bend over. I'm fat, and I can do that easily. I can still W sit. Look that up. You're not supposed to ever do that. It's really bad for the hips. But I can do it easily. I can actually lay down backwards in a W sitting position and be comfortable. So, figure that out. Anyways. My goal is to educate, not to make money. I don't care. If you want, you can go to the Ehlers Danlos Syndrome Society website, and you can donate there. They're always taking donations. They do a fabulous job of putting out webinars that are for lay people And they also do CEUs, continuing education, for medical personnel. They're trying to get education out there because these doctors and specialists are not trained to look for Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, um, which is a shame because once you're my age, you've done a lot of damage to your body. So much damage. And if you knew younger, you may not be able to control some of the stuff like with the eating, with the gastroparesis, with the, colon issues, but definitely the joint issues, you could do things differently. You could not break so many bones like I did. You know, when I had my children, I could have been like, oh, look, I'm at high risk for hemorrhaging. And instead of them being surprised that I'm bleeding to death, then they could have been aware that, hey, look, she's got a condition that, puts her at increased risk for hemorrhaging. We should have this, and this, ready to go if it happens. It's just, if you feel like you might have it, or if you know someone who has it, refer that person to my YouTube channel and to my Facebook page. If you think you might have it, DM me. I can, give you more information on it. I've got a whole head full because I'm a science brain. And, help you work it out and find a doctor, whatever. So, like I said, my Facebook page is Finding My Stripes. I've got the YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. Any donations you want to make, go to EhlersDanlosSociety.com. They do a great job of trying to educate and get the word out. So, it would be great to give some donations there. Have a great night. Get some good sleep. I'm hoping to. And we'll talk again soon. Leave some comments. Leave some likes. Do some subscribing. Give me some feedback on how boring I am. And just have a great night. Thank you.